Over the decades, investigators have chased leads, evaluated suspects, even searched possible graves.
But the truth behind the Fort Worth trio still missing.
And silence helps no one.
Darkness. Debaters starts now.
Welcome back, Darkness Debaters.
We're back for our third and final episode about the Fort Worth trio. We're glad to have Mr. MC back. We love his insight on things. And yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, it's been great having his perspective
Yes.
on things. It's been really good because we're kind of true crime, and he's got a more maybe academic and historical view of things. So it's been we're gonna have to bring him back. You're gonna have to come back on, MC, for some other cases.
You got the job.
Yeah, it's yours. You're hired. How are you doing tonight, MC?
I'm great. Heavy subjects as always, but I mean, that's why we're here, right?
That's right.
That's right. But that's also why once a month we have our Into the Weird series where we debate things like, did the moon landing happen?
Exactly.
And we're still trying to decide, are we going to talk about mermaids or vampires or ghosts or cryptids on the next one? But that will be coming up very soon.
Very soon.
Well, right after this one, actually.
Okay.
We will have our monthly Into the Weird episode right after this. So
stay tuned, family.
Stay tuned. It's going to get weird.
That's right. And as always, mental health matters.
Yep.
And if you are struggling, reach out.
Yes.
988 number or someone you trust. There's always help, and you are loved.
Yes. It's okay to not be okay. And for 988, you can call or text. Either one. If you don't want to actually talk to them, you can text 988. You can also go to their website and I believe speak to people if that's easier for you. We love you. You are important to us. So if nobody has told you that today,
we did.
And every day. So without further ado, back to the Fort Worth trio. So far, we've covered who they were, a mysterious letter being delivered to one of the girls' husbands 3 days after their disappearance. We've gone over some suspects and gone over the first private investigator that was hired that passed away from a drug overdose and had his files on all of his cases destroyed after his death, which is a little bit sus. Did he really OD on his own? Because we know some other people have not unalived themselves.
Yes.
Anyway.
So yes, it's been over 50 years now since the girls went missing, and obviously it is a cold case. There's been no confirmed sightings, nothing. They haven't showed back up, obviously. So it is with the cases with the Fort Worth Police Department's cold case unit at this time. And periodically through the years, a new detective will pick it up, look at it. They still get tips, and they follow through with those tips. And let's get into some of the tips that they've gotten through the years.
Yeah. Let's see. This was so Rachel's brother, Rusty, in 2018, on his boat that was named for her took a dive team out because they found 3 vehicles in the lake.
Like Benbrook.
Yes. And they successfully raised 2 of those vehicles, but one was had been down there so long that it was just disintegrating, and it was very unsafe for the divers. And even though, yeah, he wants answers to what happened to his sister, but they don't want to take another life, and it wasn't safe for the divers. So that vehicle, as far as we know, is still down there. They have never successfully raised the 3rd vehicle, but the other 2 they did raise. I can't remember exactly what the vehicles were, but they had nothing about the girls. There was nothing that helped. He was actually 11. Rusty was 11 when his older sister Rachel left and went to the mall
Never came.
and never came home. Rusty has searching for his sister has been his life's work. And just like we held space for Julie's mom in our first episode, I want to take a second and hold some space for Rusty, who should have just had a normal, regular life, getting married, having children, worrying about bills, and what you're going to watch on TV, rather than spending his whole life looking for his sister. I applaud Rusty for trying so hard. And I just want to hold a little bit of space and remember him and how truly devastating this must have been for him. And I hope beyond hope that before he leaves this earth, he gets answers.
Yeah. So it's also worth mentioning here that it's been 50 years and all the parents of the Fort Worth trio have, passed on without knowing
Yeah.
what happened to their girls. Just want to take a moment and just think about that, how devastating that had to have been for the rest of their lives. They just had questions there were no answers. I cannot even imagine the pain, the heartache they felt all those years, not knowing, not having answers, what happened to their girl.
Yeah.
And like you said, I hope Rusty will eventually get the answers that he deserves.
Me too. I hope so. And I will we'll have it in the description, some things from Rusty. An article from the Fort Worth Star Telegram with the article about the dive team, Rusty's search and everything. And yeah, Rusty, wherever you are,
We're praying for you.
we absolutely are. I know that one of his other sisters and him were at odds for several years over this case, but my understanding is that they have come together. They've mended fences, which is wonderful.
That's right.
I'm glad that they were able to do that, and
Mhm.
I can imagine how something like this could really destroy a family. So I'm really glad that they were able to come back together, because they're all they got left, so we're really glad for that. And yeah, as we mentioned, there was a grave.
Yeah.
Somebody said, "Oh, hey, this grave, it's them."
There was a tip that came in.
Yeah.
That supposedly there was a grave in a rural area. They said that all 3 girls were buried together.
Mhm.
The investigators did follow up on that tip. They did go out and search. Unfortunately, no remains of the girls were ever found in the course of the investigation.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask because I didn't think that they found any remains at all. Not even like,
Okay.
yeah, there wasn't anything. Um, the case continues to be reopened periodically. Of course, Rusty doesn't let people forget, and he doesn't let it, go by the wayside or um, age progressed images are released. The families never stop searching, and that's that's one of the reasons we do this is because these families, when there's no justice and there's no truth, we've asked the question before, would you rather have justice or would you rather have the truth? If you could only have one and you get the truth, but nobody will be held accountable and there will be no justice. Or would you rather have the person responsible receive justice, but you still don't know what happened? We've asked that question before. Brandy and myself both, we'd rather have the truth, even if it meant that no justice was served. And we've had, sometimes that happens. Sometimes answers come. It might be a deathbed confession, or we find out, who the killer was, and the killer's already passed. And I think I would rather have the truth. I still hold that I would rather have the truth than justice. I could deal with maybe justice not being served because I'm not going religious on you guys. I'm not going to start preaching, but I do believe in the other side, and I do believe there is an ultimate judgment. So if it doesn't happen here on earth, it is going to happen. And I would rather have the truth on that. But MC, do you have some more thoughts about this case? I know that you've been looking into it and you've been on this crazy ride with us.
What do you feel about the possibility that the subject in this case, if you want to take obviously the runaway theory out of the equation, do you think the suspect could possibly still be alive today?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted. Um,
I was like,
Yeah.
I was answering, but I saw that my mic wasn't kicking on, and I was like, "That's weird." So I definitely think it's possible for them to still be alive, like in today's day and age. Even the 28-year-old person of interest that the private investigator had spoken to, the one that was using job applications allegedly to make obscene phone calls to women of the area. I think that it's definitely possible that they're alive. Do I think it's likely is something entirely different because again this is 50 years later. So at this point, that person of interest specifically would be 78 to 79 years old by now. And while we are seeing more and more people live to these ripe old ages and such, it really depends on extenuating factors such as do they have health problems in their family, were they involved in any natural disasters, or were they a victim of a crime themselves. There's just so much that can happen in between 1974 and 2026 to where if they were alive, I think that, I mean, we have pretty conclusive evidence over 100 years after the fact of who Jack the Ripper was.
mhm,
So that's something. Obviously, he's dead now. We can't prosecute him for it, but
right.
that's something.
That's truth. Even though we don't have justice, we
We
have
have the truth. Yeah.
yeah.
And I think really what could be done for the family at this point and to honor the girl's memories would be to not necessarily aim for the justice itself. I mean, obviously, that would be a wonderful outcome if
Mhm.
these the young ladies were victimized and, you know, awful things did happen to them. It would obviously be very comforting to know that the person responsible was being held to account, even if they are in their 80s now or 70s, however
Mhm.
old they would be now. As it stands, I think the best thing that could be done for the family, though, is finding the girls and bringing them home and letting them be laid to rest in a proper way.
I
I
agree.
think that is the biggest mercy that could be done for the families, and I think that that has a higher chance of happening than finding the person responsible and holding them to account all these years later.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree. That would be
That would
a
be
good conclusion to find their remains and
lay them to
lay
rest.
them to rest with their family. Absolutely.
um, I have my ideas as, you know, somebody who, again, I'm not professional. I'm not a detective. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a lawyer.
Mhm.
Um, I have my ideas and opinions about it. There are certain things that, looking at it with the context of, you know, the letter and things of that nature, because of all the articles I've read about the 28-year-old person of interest that the private investigator found, they said that the investigation into him didn't amount to anything as far as this case is involved. They don't say if he had an alibi. They don't say if he wasn't in the state at the time that the girls went missing. They don't say anything like that. They just say that it didn't amount to anything, which could mean anything from they just didn't have enough evidence at the time to prosecute him, or he did have an alibi and he really wasn't in the area at the time. I think without knowing that, it's hard to definitively say beyond just the fact that they didn't find enough that he had absolutely nothing to do with it, because he would have had he was already making obscene phone calls to young women who applied to the store, and Rachel had applied to the store. He had lived in the same neighborhood as Rachel's parents before she
Mhm.
got married to Tommy.
Yeah,
Obviously being married to Tommy and then to applying to the store, he would have known Tommy's name. He would have been an emergency contact or a reference. Um, his name would have been on that application in some way, shape, or form.
right.
That in of itself is just concerning. However, again, even by the private investigator standards, nothing came of it. So it would
Mhm.
be unfair, especially if he really was innocent. I mean, even if everything with the phone calls that he had allegedly sent out to the 6 women were true, it would be unfair to say, "Oh yeah, he's responsible for these 3 girls disappearing and likely being murdered,"
Right.
because we just don't know. And since the private investigator overdosed, and the thing is that when you overdose, this might be more of a modern thing, especially as drug overdoses became more and more prevalent during the war on drugs era.
Mhm.
But as far as I know, drug overdoses aren't normally ruled as suicides. They're ruled as accidental overdoses.
Mhm.
The private investigator's death was ruled as a suicide, which means that they believed, at least from my perspective, outside looking in, unprofessional, not trained, that they might have believed that he intentionally overdosed and then had his records destroyed post mortem. That's odd, you know, but it could happen. I mean, the truth is stranger than fiction.
That's true.
Mm. Makes a lot of sense. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
This is a tough one, darkness debaters.
it is a tough one. Um, but we know, we covered Colt and Molly's case, and we felt really strong at the end of that episode that hey, something was fixing to happen, and we said y'all better y'all better get ready because something's going to happen. And it did.
It did.
They ended up finding those remains. And I hope that happens here. I really do. I hope that we end this episode and it happens just like that. You know, a week later, remains are found. And it could happen. We'll keep that in our prayers. We will hope that Rusty gets the answers that he deserves, and finds peace 100%.
We just want to stop and at the end of this episode and just take a moment to think about the 3 victims in this case. Because at the end of the day, they're not just some kind of headline. They were daughters. Rachel was a wife. They were sisters. And they had whole lives ahead of them. And they should be here with us today.
Yes.
But unfortunately, it seems that something sinister did happen to them that day at the mall, and they're no longer. So we just want to stop and take a moment and remember them.
Yes, we do. Absolutely. And again, on this series, I want to thank MC for joining us. It has been a blast having Brandy here all weekend. We have recorded a lot of episodes today, and some previews, some promos. So all that'll be coming at you soon. It's been wonderful.
It has been. We've had a really great time.
We have.
We've been working and we've been visiting, and yeah, it's been a great weekend.
Absolutely. And hopefully soon-ish, we won't go into exactly the timeline. MC will be here to join us live and in person.
Mhm.
Maybe by then we will be doing live events.
Yes.
So speaking of which,
We want you to go and like and follow us on all the platforms.
Yeah.
We are, of course, here on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on TikTok. We're on the Insta. And even though it's given Mandy some trouble, we are on the Spotify.
yes, we
So-
are on Spotify, and I'm working on it. I'm working on our catalog. It's not quite there yet. And merch is about to drop. And we're talking about something special we're going to do when we reach 100 followers. So stay tuned for that. We haven't quite decided what we're going to do yet, but we're going to do something fun and special, probably some type of giveaway. So I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. So go tell your mama and them to give
Yep.
us a like, give us a follow, and stay tuned because we've got a whole lot more coming for you guys.
Yep. We're just getting warmed up, y'all.
Thank you, MC, for coming along this ride with us for the Fort Worth
Absolutely.
Cruise. We've enjoyed having you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. And we will see you again soon. We'll do something else together. Impolite History.
In polite history.
Check us out over there.
Our
MC's my
Mhm.
co-host over there, and Brandy might be popping in to talk about some of the less flattering parts of history.
Yes.
It is called Impolite for a reason, but
Yeah.
it's the truth of how it happened. And yeah, MC's got a lot of great topics that we're covering, and I'm learning a lot. I'm really enjoying that. So we hope to see you guys over there, and we'll be back right here real soon with some more true crime, some Into the Weird. If you're just joining us for the first time, thank you so much for being here. Like, share, subscribe.
And don't forget about our MMIW series, comes out every Wednesday.
And these episodes drop every Sunday. And we put shorts out as I can get them run through. So I'm still getting the hang of everything. Getting a little bit better. And go check out our TikTok. Brandy series, What Was Done in the Dark, is amazing. It's all cold cases that have been solved. Sometimes justice is not served because it's been so long. Justice and truth comes out, but these are all cold cases. And one woman who was just released from prison.
Exonerated. Yeah.
She was exonerated for a crime
that she did not commit.
So go check that out on TikTok. And until next time, keep shining light where darkness dwells.
That's right, darkness debaters. Goodbye.
Bye.